The bigger the goal or the dream in life, the more likely those around you will try to extinguish that flame. They may be jealous of the person that you are, jealous of what you become, or the person that you may become in the future. So don't worry so much about the critics. Don't worry so much about what they think. They're always going to judge you. They're always going to try and put you down and tell you that you'll never get there, out of jealousy, because maybe it reminds them of their failures. Maybe it reminds them of things that they were never able to accomplish in life. Maybe it reminds them of the things that they feared following, the goals, the passions, anything that they wanted to do. They were afraid to do it because of failure. They let people tell them that it wasn't possible. They let people put them down and tell them that there's no hope, because the people around them were also afraid. They use fear in the wrong way. They let fear bring them down. They let fear control their life. And they let the people that were fearful around them make the choices for them. And in the long run, they got lost in who they were. How are we to be who we truly are if we let everybody around us make our choices for us? How are we to know who we truly are deep down inside if we keep letting those that are afraid to make sacrifices, to make a real commitment to something that gives their life purpose? How can they be the ones to make the choices for you in life? Think of everything you've done to get where you are now. Think of all the things you've overcome in life. And you're going to let that one person stop you? You're going to let a few people prevent you from doing something that you enjoy? Something that truly gives meaning to your life? Something that you wake up to every day and you look at yourself in the mirror and say, this is who I am. This is what I want to do. This is my passion. This is what gives me purpose in life. Don't live your life for other people. People won't always be there. Friends come and go. And sometimes we may have a few people, or maybe nobody at all in life. I didn't have much of anybody growing up. I had a few people to talk to as I got older and at a young age. But there was a middle part of my life to where I isolated myself. I cut everybody out of my life that I could, that added no value to help improve who I was. The people that just want to drag me down and tell me that I couldn't be something. The people that want to tell me that it wasn't possible. To tell me that I can't do something just because they couldn't do it. Because they're afraid of making that commitment. They're afraid of making that sacrifice. They're afraid of making that compromise. Because there are people out there that ask me, how do you sacrifice so much? How do you give up so much for this? What is it that keeps pushing you to keep going? What gives you that motivation every day to wake up and to keep going despite gaining so little? Despite having no recognition from no one around me hardly. And I tell them, because this for me means more than money. It means more than attention. It means more than fame. To me, it's a lifestyle. It's what makes me who I am. It's what gives meaning to my life. Without it, who am I? What am I? Am I just someone that wakes up every day doing the same boring task over and over? I don't want everybody else's lifestyle. We've all got our own choices in life. Things that we want to be. Things we want to do. Our own passions, hobbies, and goals. Our own group of friends. Our own family members. So who is everybody to tell me how to live my life? They haven't experienced my life. Who are they to tell me that? And who are they to tell you that? It's your life, so go out there and live it the way that you want to live it. It's not up to them. It's up to you. And if you go through life letting everyone around you tell you how to live, how to be, what choices you should make, who you should talk to and everything. It's not your life. They're choosing it for you. And when I get asked how I make all these compromises and all these sacrifices I make, people tell me, you're wasting your time. Why are you doing this? No one's going to care about this. No one's going to care 100 years from now. No one's going to care 10 years from now. No one's going to care 5 years from now. You see, they're only thinking about the future. Only what other people think of them. That's all they care about. They want instant gratification and success. They're looking so far in the future and looking at who you are now, thinking that you can't do it just because of where you are. We've all got to start somewhere. If I was to compare you to who you were today, to the person you were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, however long ago it was, would that be the same person? Would it be right to judge and compare you to that? We've all got to start somewhere. And sometimes it's just a matter of starting. And don't worry so much about trying to be absolutely perfect with everything. We can't be perfect with everything in life. You've got to start somewhere. And if you let the fear of perfection stop you, you'll never get there. If you let that fear of perfection and their opinions control and dictate everything in your life, who and what are you going to be? Where are you going to be in 10 years from now? You're going to look back on it and think to yourself, why did I let them make all the choices for me? Why did I let them control my life? And then you'll be thinking, who are my friends after all? And if they really cared, why wouldn't they help me follow my passion? Why wouldn't they allow me to be who I am? If they truly loved me and cared for me for who I am? It's a good question to ask. You should start asking that question. Then you'll know who your friends are. Sometimes you have to let some people go if they're not adding any value to your life, if they're not doing anything that helps you and the relationship that you're building together. That's not a friendship. The ones that want to judge you, criticize you, and only come around when they need something. So don't worry so much about those type of people. They'll come and go, and as their life goes on, they fade into the history to be forever forgotten. You will still be following your passion, doing what makes you happy. Maybe and maybe not. Maybe you will leave on a legacy. Maybe you won't. But don't worry so much about that. Because if you're struggling in life and you want to find something that helps you to get through your day, so that you don't feel like you're waking up every day, looking in the mirror, feeling disgusted with the person that you are. You want to wake up and be happy with who you are. You don't want to start your day out thinking, oh, it's another day wasted. Another day that I have done nothing. Sometimes you just gotta make that sacrifice. You gotta make that first step. And stop letting other people walk in your shoes. Make the steps for you. Because there's no walking back. There's no turning around and starting over. From this point on, be yourself. Make the choices for your life. Be the person that you want to be. And stop letting them control everything. And that's one of the reasons why I'm able to do my passions in life, what makes me happy. Because I'm living beyond everyone's opinions. I'm living beyond this idea that you have to be a person based on what other people think. My passion and what I do is not just about me. It's way beyond who I am. It's way beyond just myself. The reason I'm doing this is because I made a promise. I promise I'll keep it. I promise I won't let go. And a promise that gives purpose to my life, because without pursuing this, who am I and what am I? Am I just another copy, a carbon copy like everyone that I see that wants to be like everybody else? They see this fame and they see this and the attention and they want to be like that. And then these same people you see 10, 20 years later, they're all sad and everything and they feel like they have nothing in life, despite how much money they have. And that's not the way that you want your life to be. And with the promise that I've made and what I'm pursuing in life, opinions from people that just want to put me down, that's not going to do anything. And people want to criticize and tell me that it's not possible. Well, you're telling the wrong person. You're talking to the wrong person. If you think I'm going to give up just because a few people say it's not possible. And after all, why does it matter so much whether or not you succeed based on other people's opinions? Do things on your own terms. Do things because it is what gives you happiness in your life. Don't do it just because you want to make everyone else happy because you're afraid of failure or afraid of their opinions or whatever lame excuse they want to make. I see people wasting so much time every day doing things that does nothing to improve their life. And then I get asked, how do you keep pursuing this? How do you do this? How do you do that? How do you sacrifice so much? They'll make every sacrifice possible when they've got a TV show that comes on they want to watch. When the football game comes on, they'll lock the doors, close the window, turn off their phone, do everything they can to shut out the outside world so they can focus on that one thing. If they can make that kind of a commitment to something like that does nothing to benefit their lives, just think of what they can truly accomplish if they were to do the same thing with their passion. And you know why they're in that position? Because they don't have a passion themselves, or they're afraid of pursuing it because of failure. So they need to be entertained all day. They need to have some kind of excitement to give their life meaning, because without the 24/7 excitement from other people, or the television, or their phone, they don't have any meaning to life. They don't want to look in the mirror and look at themselves. They don't want that. They're afraid of it. They're afraid of thinking. They're afraid of actually using their mind for once, because it reminds them of the failures they've made in life. And they're afraid of making that sacrifice and that compromise. But they'll do it when the game's on. They'll do it when their show's on. They'll do it for all these other pointless tasks that does nothing to improve who they are. But then they'll go around, turn around and look at you and say, I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I wasn't given that opportunity in life. I can't do it. But they constantly make that sacrifice for things that don't matter. So when I'm told that my goal and my dream is impossible, I just look at them and say, it's my dream. It's my life. Live your own life. If you're not happy with how I'm living my life, well, you're paying too much attention and you're looking in the wrong direction. Because all it's going to lead to is jealousy. Because those that succeed, people that are jealous do not want to see that. They don't want to see people succeed. They don't want to see them rise above adversity and the challenge, because they didn't want to make that compromise. They didn't want to make that sacrifice when it mattered the most. So just be yourself. Do what gives you purpose in life. And don't worry so much about those people. And when they tell you it's not possible, just look at them and say, it might be impossible to you, but I've got a different outlook on life. It's my life. I'll live it how I want. You worry about yourself. And if you spend enough time worrying about yourself, stop being so focused on what I'm doing, maybe you'll get somewhere. But until then, you'll forever be jealous of who I am. And you will always criticize me for every action and every step I make. Because you yourself were afraid to make that sacrifice